Okay, so let's continue your orientation to the course. Just to recap from the previous video, we looked at your home page, your nav bar, how to get help if you need help with your technical assistance, how to ask questions to the class, how to contact me. We also looked at your first module, your resource module, which is extremely important for you as a student in understanding how to use all the components of this class. Now we'll look at a typical module, a typical learning module. The first resource one is just to get you acclimated to the course. So here we are in your content. Remember, we were in module 1. Remember, I told you how to click on the top. Let's look at module 2. You see the due dates here. 128 is the due date for module 2. And as you can see, the same setup: objectives, instruction, and then quizzes or discussion posts, which is your assessment for that particular module. So as you can see in this module, you will be covering 2 chapters, chapter 1 and 2 in your textbook. And along with that, I have a video, a homemade video for you. I have some instruction that I create along with the textbook, one on the communication process and then the other on noise in the communication process. And please know, I don't just put these things in your learning module for the sake of putting them in. There's a purpose. You will be assessed on this information. Everything you see in the readings and instructions, you will be tested on, or you will be asked to write about it. So it's so important, because you know, that's the thing about online learning. It's great because you can learn at your own pace, at your own convenience, but it's real important that you have the self-discipline to complete all these items in the instruction, or you won't be successful in the class. Excuse me. So in this module, which is a typical module, chapter 1, chapter 2, you see the assessments. So you see that you have a discussion post. This little thingy there is a discussion post. And then you have 2 quizzes. And I want to talk about the quizzes in a second. And then again, your checklists. So let's look at a typical chapter in Rebel, the digital audio of your class. Here you will see that when you go into these textbook chapters, you have the option to take the quiz at that time, or you can come back. So let's go into this digital textbook. So this is how you will be getting in. Remember, you put in your code, you established a username, a password, you clicked on for chapter 1, and here I give you a link to get into chapter 1. Now this is going through my system. It won't look exactly like your system, but you will have to put in your username and password again. You may get a block like this of the course that you want to click on, and then also you'll see that, well, I guess I'm already in the system. You will get a point where they're going to ask you for your username and your password again that you established in module 1 with the resources. Usually once you put that in once or twice, it's there, so you just have to click on it. But it brings you out of D2L, and now you're going into Rebel. And you see here for this particular for this learning module, let's go over what this means. So you see the assignments are due on the 28th, which is in your learning module. You see that it's down here on January 28th. You're going to see that when you go into a particular, for the next module, you might need to click on the 4th or the 11th. These are all the learning modules for your particular class. This is your chapter. Okay, so you'll click on the chapter, and let's do that. And you will see this is out of your textbook. So what I recommend for you to do is have your textbook there and listen to this information.
Introduction.
You can read it and highlight, but you can listen to it and you can highlight. Okay, so it's totally up to you, but I find that students really appreciate having the audio section of the textbook. I'm sorry, I just clicked out of that and I didn't mean to do that. Let's get back into Revel because I want to show you the quiz. Here we are again. Okay, so here we are in the learning module. It's taking its good old time to set up. Come on. It's being very slow to bring up my chapters. It's probably because I have a lot going on right now. Come on. Let me stop this 1 second for you. Okay, I'm back. The computer is running very slowly. This is our first week of classes, so everybody's on D2L. So I didn't want to take your time with having this come up again. Here we are again in Revel. And here was the first chapter. I showed you how to click on the different areas. But let me show you the quiz. You would click on this at the end. This is where you will take the quiz for Chapter 1. You click on this particular area. You're going to see that it's not timed. And I will have either 1 attempt or 2 attempts. In other words, if you have 2 attempts, you can take it, see what you got wrong, and you can retake it again. So that's where your quizzes are located for each of your chapters. And I'm going to repeat that. So when you're in D2L and you see that you have quiz 1 due, you know you need to go into Revel, go into this area. You know you need to go into this particular chapter, and you need to click on this particular area to take the quiz. Okay, and the same thing here with Chapter 2. Also know that, okay, as we get into the semester, it's February, and you know what, maybe when you get into Revel, it's going to take you right to this page by mistake. I mean, Revel could do something funny. Go down here to the bottom of the calendar, and here, let me pull this up. You can't see this calendar, can you? Let me change my screen. Aha, there you go. So you see here, you have every week listed as far as this is what's due on February 4th. This is what's due on February 11th. So if it doesn't take you directly to this area from D2L, be sure that you click on the bottom to see, what week you're in, and then you could click on that particular week at the bottom of this calendar. Looking at a quiz, okay, so, and let's go back to January 28th, which is coming up. You'll click on the quiz, and I just want to show you the instructions. It's worth 30 points. There's 15 questions in the quiz. Quizzes are multiple choice, true and false. Each question is worth 2 points initially and decreases in value for each incorrect attempt. You get 2 attempts to answer each question correctly. Now, this is not true for every quiz, so be sure that you read these instructions so that when you go into the quiz, you know what you're getting into. And again, this is typical quiz question. Make sure you click on your answer, and then you would continue throughout your questions of your quiz by clicking to the side. If you ever should have any problems, I can see everything. I always tell students, I'm the big sister of this particular system. We had Big Brother during in the 80s. I am a big sister, so I can see everything, what you get into, what you click in. How long do you watch a video in D2L? Did you attempt a quiz and the system broke down? So just be aware of that, because I just want you to know that that's how they put together these online classes. Okay, so let's get back to the course. Okay, so we are now back to D2L, the mainstay of your course. We're still in Module 2, and as you could see that we went into the Pearson digital text. We went out of D2L into Revel, and you listened to your text, and you may have taken the quiz. So this is your option here, guys. you read, you follow, and you make notes, and you might want to just immediately take the quiz, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so you take that quiz and you're done. I just don't want you to be confused, because then when you come down here to the assessments, you see that you have quiz 1. So that's that same quiz from chapter 1. So you have that option of reading, taking the quiz, or reading and then coming back and taking the quiz again. And then also you see in this particular module, you have an assessment of a discussion post. So that's how a module works with Rebel. You'll see that in your next module, module 3, you'll have your first presentation recording. Please know that you have 5 recordings that you're going to be using GoReact. You have this elevator speech in this particular module. You'll have a makeshift webinar. You'll have an informative presentation where you're going to be informing us of a product. You will also have a small group staff meeting type of presentation, of problem solving. And then lastly, you will role play an interview where you will have somebody interview you, and you will answer the questions, and then you will evaluate yourself regarding that interview. So those are the presentations in the class. So this first one is just a quick elevator speech. You got to sell yourself. We call it an elevator speech because it's as if you are in an elevator. You're going from the bottom floor to the very top floor, and you need to introduce yourself in that 2-minute time. So what do you say? How do you say it? And how do you say it in a confident way? And I just wanted to show you this because I don't want to overload you today. But again, you see the modules the same. Particular system, the objectives, the checklist at the end. But this is the GoReact link to submit your elevator speech. You will always see for your presentations this particular description of the assignment. You don't need to put anything in that Dropbox for the most part. Read that assignment. That's where I put your grade. You'll see the rubric for the particular presentation, and then you'll click in this GoReact. So now I want to explain that GoReact is, again, you're going out of D2L and you're going into GoReact, which is our big recording area. So it's like the studio for recording, and that's where you will record your speech or presentation and upload it, and that's where I'll grade it. That's where you can view it, and that's where your peers can view it. And you're going to also see that with Screencast-O-Matic eventually, and again, that's where you bring in the PowerPoint. You don't need PowerPoint for this one. You'll record like I'm doing right now, and you'll have a PowerPoint. And again, you'll still use GoReact. That's our recording studio where you're going to be putting your presentation. Okay? It might seem like a lot right now, but as you go through the course, you will see that everything fits together, that we do have a resource area as far as that first module, and you also have a lot of links to click on if you should need some help. Okay, well, have a good day, and thank you for your time. I wish you the best in this course. Remember, I'm just an email away if you should have any questions.